Alright, before we get started, you should go to your web browser. You should download Brew. This is really useful because it is a package manager, and you'll see why in a little bit. Just follow the instructions here, and then we can also install stuff like VS Code. So once you install it, you can do brew. And you'll see the commands. And you can do brew, install VS Code, and normally binaries like brew you can install this way. But if it's like a extension, like an application like one of these, you probably want to do cask. And I believe I already have VS Code installed as a cask, but it'll just update it for me. This is good for beginners. Hello everybody. Let's start with this thing right here, the SH. This terminal, and you might have it in your Windows computer. This is a shell system. It runs scripts. So if it ends in a .sh or sh, it's shell. And so most of the commands you can do are similar, so like echo. And Windows will have PowerShell, but it's very different. But when you have this kind of environment, something you have to understand is the file system. So if you do ls, you can list all your things. And this downloads folder is the same thing as this one in your Mac directory. And this tilde is your home. So if you do ls this, you get the same area. This home is very special per user. And if you do ls.la, which stands for all, you get a special list of things. And you'll see these little dots. And these are things that you can't normally see. .dstore, .rdata, .trash, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure what this .trash is, but all of these are kind of, you can say that they're configuration files. So see this .zch, that's this shell. So if you wanted to have a configuration for this shell environment, like adding colors to your username, then you would put it in here. So if I do tail.zchrc, then you can see I have something special here for the colors. And then you can have some other stuff. You might see it in some other projects as well, but this is just that. And we want to get it to Git, and to do that, we will need to do something in our .ssh folder. And this will hold our key. So let's cd to it. Now we're in .ssh, and if we do ls, you can see the keys that you have. And these are my keys. But if you want to go back to home, you can go cd home, or you can do cd tilde and go back home. So you might not have a .sh folder, and if that's the case, you can just create one. So you can just make directory .sh. I believe if you make it a key, it's going to do that anyways, but you can play around with that. Let's create a key. So when you're in this folder, you can do ssh-keygen, and you will create a key here. You can see the path of the key, blah, blah, blah. We want to save the key into a file, so just name it. So let's do git 5 key. You want to see this. I'm just recreating this key. You can create a passphrase by doing this command. You don't need to do this, so we can just skip it right now. Boom. So now we can see I made a git 5. So now that we have our keys, let's create a script to move these keys. So right now I have this script. I'm going to recreate it just for you guys. So let's do nano, which is a text editor. Let's make a git.sh script. Enter. Now we want to, so we're good to test stuff here right now, and you want to start with this hashtag !bin.bash. It's just how you normally start a script, and then you can do any kind of commands here that will be in your command line. You need to do this, but what we want to do is we want to start a Git agent, add the key to the agent, and so that we can interact using the command line. So let's do eval, and this is what you would want to do for if you're in a Mac. I think there'll be some sort of variation of this if you're somewhere else. So you do this command, and you want to do SSH add to the key. And remember, tilde is home dash dot .sh, and then the script is get.sh, but we want to add the git key. So we want to add the private key. And then I believe we can do something like echo success for fun. And then we can exit right here. So it's right down here, so shift, is it shift X? Control X, there we go, and then a Y. And then save it as get.sh. So if we do ls, la, we'll see like special permissions of everything, and we'll see that get.sh is not executable. We don't see any X's here, so we want to make it executable by doing change the file system, or the file credentials to executable.x get.sh. And then if you do ls-la again, you'll see that it's changed. That's how you create a script. You don't need to do this last part if you do a special workaround, but you should probably just do this for the sake of it. And now, if you try to run the script, so let's go back home first. cd tilde, and now you're back home. And by the way, these little dots are hidden. So if you want to find it again, you can just do la, and you'll see the .sh. But let's do so source runs a script within your session. You can do source, but since we made it executable, we can also just do .sh. Git, this is probably git.sh, right? And then agents. We added the key to the agents, and then echo success. So we should be good to go. Now I want you to go to the browser. I want you to add this key. So go to settings and go to SSH and GPG keys. And so let's create a new key, new SSH key. Let's type, let's say this is a key for your let's say MacBook. And then basically we want to upload the public key here because you don't want to expose it to the internet. So let's go back to the .sh folder. And then cat is a very famous command. You just take everything from the file and release it. So this is what's inside the file if we try to go inside of it. But we can just cat it and then copy paste into right here. And then this is what Git needs in order for you to authenticate who you are. So now I have MacBook 123 up and running. Now let's create a project. So let's create a new repository. Let's name it something silly. Anything you want. Let's make it public, private, doesn't matter. Add a README, whatever. We'll play around with the README. And then just create it. This is where you can delete those later. But you'll create this repository, and you made your first Git project. Now, I want to work on this on my computer, and I want to use VS Code. So let's try to get there. So right here, this green button, we have the command for cloning it, which is just like a URL. So I want you to copy this to your clipboard, and if you see right here real quick, this is just a demonstration. If I try to git clone this repository, it's going to tell me that I don't have the correct public key. And right here, let's see, we added the the public key right here. So if we try to do git clone in this one,
Stop touching everything. Nothing.
so there is a rectification that I gotta do. I can't just do git.sh. I gotta do source, so I do it in this session, not in some other session. So I'm gonna cd home, and I'm gonna make a project folder. Let's make it first. And this will be accessible other ways, but I want to clone the repository into here. And like you saw earlier, it wouldn't work, but let's do source. We can do tilde for home.sh.git.sh. And you can always do this exact one because your home will always be the same, and this will always be in the same location. So you just remember this, and then you'll be able to use Git wherever you want. And so we added the identity to our agents, and now if we try to do git clone this repository, it's going to let us clone it. And now we can try opening it in VS Code. So let's switch over to VS Code. Let's open the folder. Let's go to home. Let's go to the projects folder. And let's open our repository. And now we have it. This README should be the same as the one inside your. So you want to open the file, open folder, go to file, open folder, go to the repository you just made, and then open it. And now we have it here. Now, we probably want to use you click on the file, learn Git or VS Code on your own time, but you click on the file and then you can start editing on this side. If you do control tilde, which is top left next to the 1, you open up your terminal, and by default there's something here. You can change it to, if you're on Windows, you can change it to Git Bash if you download Git Bash, which will be really convenient. But here you can basically do the same thing where you take in the script that you made earlier, the git.sh, we'll add the thing, and then we can do git status. Now we see that we have no changes to commit, because I mean obviously we haven't changed anything, but let's say added 2 lines, first commits, and we can do git status again. See, now we've changed this README, and I'm gonna make this a little easier for everybody. Oh. And since this is a README, if you have an extension, maybe this is by default, but you can also go to Open Preview, and this is basically what you'll see. So you can see a preview here. You don't really need to worry about it too much, but it might be helpful when you're working with MD. Basically, this is a header. 2 of them is like a smaller header. 4 of them is an even smaller header. You can learn this on your own time for documentation purposes. There are cool little features where if you have actually like 2 repeated numbers, it'll actually be ordered correctly. Small things like that. We won't worry about it too much. Let's just stay with first init. And this is a way better editor than what you have in here. So I always say just stick to VS Code when you can, just to get stuff on this little terminal thing here. So first commit, and if you have code, like I want to add documentation about this script, so I could do tab 4 times for code, or if I have like a small portion of code, I could do like this is echo command. Just do the same. This is I don't know what it's called, but it's next to the 1. it's not an apostrophe, but if you do echo, and do it again, it'll be special. It'll be code. Like this. Or code. Just like that. Now we can do git status, and then we see these changes. We want to add these changes, so let's do this commit A, which is git commit. I believe it's let's do AM. AM will let you do a message, so let's do first commit as our message. So now we have our first commit, and it's called first commit. Git log will show us that we have our initial commit and then our first commit. So we do git status again. It'll say, hey, everything's good to go. You have one commit available. So let's make one more change. Let's do commits 2, git status. Another changes happens. Git commits AM. AM just changes or adds everything that you've changed. So let's do second commits. Now we do git status again. Now we have 2 commits that we want to push over. And now since we already have the identity added, now we can push it over. If you were to start a new one, to try to do git push, it wouldn't work. But you can just, like, without worry, go to the home, use the script, and then git push from this repository, and then boom, we push it to the main area. Now that we push it over, we can go back to our project. Let's refresh the page. We'll see that if you don't see these commits happen as you're changing, you might have to change your settings. So go to settings, go to settings, and you want to change your autosave to something different. On focus change is really nice because if you're switching between this screen where you're editing the code and then in the command line, you can basically see the changes live. Now, if you go to the project, you should see everything right here. And if you share it with people, you can also have them edit this repository as well. So let's say I want to go, this is mine, but if I want to be invited, I go to settings of this project, and you go to collaborators. And it's not like a repository, but to have them be able to push without any stopping them, you want to add people and add whoever we want to add. So this is someone that is telling the story right now. I added them. They'll have to go to their GitHub account and accept this invite, and they'll be able to start their Git session, clone it, and make the same changes. So that we have this is the main branch, and let's say we have a bunch of scripts here, some pipelines that we don't really want to change, but let's say we wanted to add like a little feature, right? So I want to go in here. Let's create a new file. Let's do like git.sh. Let's basically just create the git whatever, and we can do something like create the thing right here, do the same command. VS Code will register this as an SH, and it'll give you nice coloring to go with it. So let's just create the same thing that we made before, just so we have like a place where we can remember it. Sh add tilde.sh.get.sh echo success, and this is our entire script. It's untracked, so I'll show you how to deal with that later. And I want to add a little bit of documentation. So let's say switch to the README, and let's do a double header. So this is like a smaller than this one. Let's do get.sh description. This is the git script used to initialize git. And you can see in the preview that it's going to look something like this. So I mean, it's not the prettiest thing, but you can mess around with readmes, use ChatGPT, whatever. And then you go to git status, you'll see that you need to add a file, and then also a file changed. So let's say that this entire project was already pretty good, and we don't want to make big changes without someone checking them first. So what we want to do is we want to make a branch. So you could have made a branch initially, and then switch over to it, but let's do it after we made changes. So let's do git checkout -b, and let's do the git branch, git sh branch, and we'll switch over to that branch. And then if you do git branch, you'll see a list of all your branches. So if I do checkout, is just switching between branches. So I want to go back to main. Git checkout main. Status. Let's go back to our branch. Git sh. All right, let's add this file. So git add, and then you can add git.sh if you want to be specific, or you can just do git add dot, which will do everything that you in this directory. So it's the same thing as like this for those who understand this a little bit more. And then we git status. We added everything, so we can just do commit -m. So git commit am is git commit all in this directory. So we already committed all, so it's the same thing as git commit am. So it doesn't matter what you do here. And let's say we're gonna do the git feature or git sh feature, whatever. It doesn't matter. Status, and then git push. It's gonna give us this weird set upstream origin. Just copy paste it. It's fine. And now we can go back to our GitHub project, and we'll see that we had a push, and we can compare and pull request. In here, we can compare these two branches, and it says we can automatically merge, but let's try to compare them first. So we see here what changes have been made. Like, okay, this red part is what got taken out. This is what got added. This is what got added. So okay, I like this. Let's have. I want to create this pull request. I'm not gonna merge it, but I want to assign it to. Assign it to me. I can assign it to anybody. Probably the leader of the project. So create pull request. Say like, oh, I added the git feature, or the git script. I added documentation as well. I'm going to create the pull request. And now we see in here these pull requests that someone can come in here, look at this and like, okay, let's see what they changed. An analyzer here, whatever. Okay, this guy added the script. He added documentation. Let's say I forgot documentation. I can just comment here like, hey, add documentation. Comment. But I did, so we can merge the pull request. Confirm merge. And now this branch has been merged with the main branch. And now we see that we added this, and that the script is right here. Now, if we switch back to VS Code, you can check out main. We'll see that, okay, we don't have these changes saved because they're all in this new branch, this git sh branch. And if we do git status, it'll tell us something that it's clean, but what you want to do is you want to get pull, I believe it's pull origin, and it'll basically, what it'll do is it'll sync up what you have with what's there. So if you were in a different environment and you made changes on your own computer, and let's say you have a server, then you can do git pull origin for the main server, or for the main git branch. And then you can delete this branch now that it's been merged. Uppercase D is just force deletes. And now we're good to go. So in the future, we could just do git branch. Like if we want to work on a feature like, let's say, documentation, git branch. We haven't switched over. We didn't check out to it, so let's do git checkout. Git status. Nothing changed. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. This is my practice project. Git status. Okay, this has changed. Let's commit it. Cleaned documentation. Git push. Get this little thing. Now you'll see on our browser that we'll probably have a new pull request, or a recent push, compare and pull request, the same thing over again, and this is how you make changes to Git.